Picture a cave in southern France, 30,000 years ago. A small fire, a handful of humans crouched in the dark, and above them, through the mouth of the cave, a sky so dense with stars it looked like smoke. No walls, no roof, no glass between them and the cosmos. Just 200 billion points of fire, pressing down on a species that had been sleeping beneath them every single night since the first human drew breath. That was the ordinary human experience of night for nearly our entire existence. And then, in the span of a single century, it vanished. So what exactly did all those years under that sky do to the human brain? And what did we lose when the stars went dark? There's a force in nature that shaped us so quietly, so completely, that we forgot it was shaping us at all. The night sky, that enormous, silent ceiling of light above every civilization that ever rose and fell, wasn't just beautiful, it was a biological event. It reached into the ancient circuitry of the human mind and reorganized it, not once in a while, every single night for hundreds of thousands of years. And then, almost overnight, it disappeared. The first clue that something profound was happening came not from a laboratory, but from fieldwork, from scientists who started noticing what happened to people when they sat beneath a truly dark sky. Psychologist Dacher Keltner spent decades studying a specific emotional state, one he called AWE, that ancient humans experienced constantly and modern ones almost never do. What he found was startling. Staring upward into a vast, boundless space triggered a measurable transformation in the human mind. Heart rate dropped, the inner voice went quiet, time seemed to stretch. The self, that constant narrator in your head, went almost completely silent. This wasn't mystical, this was neurological, and it was happening every clear night for our entire existence as a species. Here's where it gets strange, because awe doesn't just feel good. It actually changes how the brain functions. In 2015, Keltner and his colleagues published research showing that awe, the kind triggered by vast, overwhelming, incomprehensible things, made people dramatically more cooperative, more generous, more connected to the world around them, not temporarily, measurably and repeatedly. The night sky wasn't just a backdrop to human history, it was an active ingredient in it. Every culture that ever built something, every calendar, every code of ethics, was built by people who spent their entire lives being regularly awed into a kind of cognitive reset. That changes everything about what we think we know. Now consider what was happening inside the body while the mind was going quiet under all those stars. The brain doesn't just respond to light as an aesthetic experience. It responds to it biologically, chemically, structurally. Research from neuroscientist Randy Nelson at Ohio State showed that the specific timing of light exposure affects mood and the architecture of brain circuits themselves, not just whether light is present, but when and what kind. Natural darkness, the kind that falls gradually after sunset and holds for 10 or 12 hours, was triggering hormonal cascades, cellular repair processes, and neural consolidation patterns that artificial light simply cannot replicate. The brain was being literally rebuilt every night by the darkness. The stars above weren't just something ancient humans noticed, they were part of the machinery of what it meant to be human. And this is the part nobody talks about. That machinery ran flawlessly for so long that it became invisible, woven into the very structure of who we were. Think about what that darkness actually felt like. The cooling air, the silence pressing in from every direction, the slow emergence of stars from faint smudges to blazing points of fire as your eyes adjusted. Your pupils would have dilated fully, up to 8 millimeters wide, drinking in every photon in the sky. The Milky Way wouldn't have been a faint smear. It would have been a physical presence overhead, so bright it cast faint shadows on the ground beneath your feet. This was the ordinary human experience of night. Not special, not rare, just Tuesday. And then something happened that severed it almost completely. The shift was so fast in evolutionary terms that it barely registers as time at all. In 1879, Thomas Edison demonstrated the electric incandescent bulb. Within decades, cities were ablaze. Within a century, the light had spread so far and so fast that by 2016, a landmark atlas published in the journal Science Advances revealed that 80% of the world's population and 99% of people in the United States and Europe now live under skies so contaminated by artificial light that they can no longer see the Milky Way. From 200 billion visible stars to a gray, featureless, orange-tinted ceiling in roughly 100 years. That's not a slow cultural shift. That's an amputation, a biological inheritance built across 400,000 years of human evolution, severed in the span of 4 generations. What the night sky reveals, when you look at it this way, is something far older and stranger than astronomy. It reveals that the human brain was never designed to work alone. It was designed as one half of a dialogue, a nightly conversation between a small, frightened, magnificent creature and an incomprehensibly vast universe. The darkness wasn't an absence. It was a presence, and the awe it triggered wasn't a luxury emotion. It was a calibration system, a nightly reminder, written in starlight, of exactly how large the world was and exactly how small we were inside it. That smallness, paradoxically, is what made us generous, what made us cooperative, what made us build. What if the most powerful force that ever shaped human civilization wasn't fire, or language, or agriculture, but something as simple and ancient as darkness? Tonight, the sun will go down. You'll flip a switch. The room will fill with light, and you won't think twice about it. But somewhere in the oldest, quietest part of your brain, the part that was built under 200 billion stars, something will wait. It has always waited. The machinery is still there, still listening for the signal that used to arrive every single night without fail. That deep, cooling dark and the slow emergence of fire across the sky. We didn't just look up at the stars. For nearly our entire existence as a species, they looked back, and the looking changed us. And perhaps the most quietly unsettling truth of all is this: we barely noticed when it stopped.